Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I have been wanting to film this video for so long. I want to share with you my updated everyday makeup routine. This is my go-to look whenever I'm on vacation where I don't really want to think about what I'm doing. This look is like second nature to me. It does not let me down. It goes with all the outfits and it's just my go-to signature look. I am so excited for this video. You have literally no idea. I'm also going to be going in depth with all of the tools I use, my favorite brushes to apply each of these makeup steps, and all of that good stuff. You already know the drill. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get into this video. The very first step that I like to do is prep my skin. Your makeup application has everything to do with your skin prep. If you're not prepping your skin and you find that when you're doing your makeup, it's not laying how you want it to lay, nothing's blending seamlessly, it's because of your makeup prep. Starting off with the Rhode glazing mist. I've gone through so many bottles of this. It is the best. I just like to use this to refresh the skin. Oh, and it's so hydrating. There's no scent to this, but this is literally like the Rhode glazing milk, but in spray form. And I just feel like it just adds that nice extra layer of hydration before you go on with all of your other skin prep products. Next up is the Rhode glazing milk. I have the tiniest amount in this. I need to finish this bottle. I already have a backup ready to go. You're gonna see that this product is basically gonna give me glass skin, and I like to just work this into the skin. My skin has been going through it lately. When I tell you, it's been so dry, so irritated, and just really sensitive lately. I don't know what's going on. This just brings my skin back to life and gives it that really healthy lit from within glow. 2 products in and the skin is already skinning. Okay, this is what we want. This is how I want the skin to look. I want the skin to look like a glazed donut before I apply any makeup on. Lastly, for skin prep, I'm going in with the moisturizer. This has been my favorite from Danessa. This is the 10 out of 10 Barrier Boost. This has truly been a lifesaver for me. This has more of a thinner gel-like texture, but it really adds that hydration into the skin, and I also feel like it makes the skin really plump and juicy, and it just literally melts into the skin. Like, look at that. This is how I want the skin to look. Nice and glowy and dewy and hydrated and just plump. Next is primer, and I actually have 3 different primers, okay? Hear me out. Hear your girl out, okay? They all do something different, and one thing about it, I am not scared to layer my primers, especially because they all do something different depending on, the day, depending on how my skin is feeling. I like to have options, okay? I like to have options, and honestly, the more the better. My go-to combo has been these 2 products right here. This is the Easy Blur Primer from Huda, and this is the Maybelline Grippy Serum. And then depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going, that is when I would use the Fenty Mattifying Primer. This mattifies and blurs at the same time, so it's kind of like a 2-in-1. I'm gonna start off with the Maybelline Grippy Primer. This primer is so fun to apply because it goes on like a serum, but as it starts to set down on the skin, it turns into this slight grip. Now, if you don't like super grippy primers, but you still want what a grippy primer is gonna do for your makeup, I think this is a great one because it's not an overly tacky primer, and it's also so easy to blend as well. Huda Easy Blur Primer, I like to use this strictly where I have the most pores and where I would like to blur. So really that's right here under my eye and along the sides of my nose. And you'll see that it's gonna start to just blur that skin. You can already see that blur. A little bit of the Fenty primer. Where I usually get the most oily, which is my T-zone. You do not have to go in with this many primers. Me personally, I love to do this because it just gives me extra insurance for my makeup. Now, when it comes to the Fenty and the Huda primer, they both are gonna blur the skin, but the Fenty is going to help mattify and control the oils. So if you have oily skin, I would say just opt for the Fenty. You don't have to go in with the Huda, but for this video, I wanna show you every single product that I use or interchange when it comes to my everyday makeup routine. So I know 3 primers is probably really excessive to a lot of people, but I don't usually use both of these together. I'm either using one or the other when it comes to these 2. For color corrector, this one has been my favorite. This is the Maybelline color corrector. So I just like to take this around my mouth and a little bit under the eyes. To blend this out, I like to use this brush. This is the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush. This is the A506. I just like how small it is to where I can be precise And I also love the angle of this brush. One thing I love about this color corrector is it has like this soft matte finish to it to where it doesn't leave the skin looking shiny. It sets itself, so you don't have to set it with a translucent powder. Definitely is an extra step, but it really does make the world of a difference. For foundations, okay, so I have two that I like to alternate between. Depending on how my skin is, that is how I determine which foundation I use, but also depending on where I go. That also has a factor too. These are the two foundations I love to use in my everyday routine. The Nars Light Reflecting, truly nothing comes close to the way this foundation looks on the skin. It literally makes your skin look so healthy and juicy. I love this foundation so much. I've gone through so many bottles of this. It's so good. My shade is the shade Marqueses. And then I also love this soft matte foundation from NYX. This is in the shade 36 Warm Rich. Love, 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 love. Today we're doing the Nars Light Reflecting because I feel like, I don't know. Today I really want to do Nars Light Reflecting. To blend this foundation in, I'm going in with the BK Beauty 101 brush. I love this because it has a really nice angle to it. So I'm just kind of working the product into the brush bristles, trying to get an even application before I start to stipple this foundation into the skin. I love doing a stipple motion because I feel like it really presses that foundation into the skin. I feel like I say this all the time, but this foundation smells like Jolly Ranchers. It smells so good. So next up is bronzer and contour. And for bronzer, the Rhode Pocket bronzers are where it's at for me. I use two shades. I use the shade Shade and the shade Drench. I like to start off with the shade Shade. I like to use this shade just on my forehead because I like that warmth that this shade gives me. For my bronzer, I like to use a smaller version of the 101 brush from BK Beauty. This is the 115 brush. As you can see, it's a smaller version of the foundation brush. Just gonna work the product into the bristles again. We're just gonna start to work this all on the forehead. I am gonna go ahead and take whatever is left on the brush, just follow along the cheekbones, just to kind of make it a little bit more of a seamless transition into the next shade that I'm gonna go in with. I'm definitely a little extra, so going in with two bronzers is a little much. You don't have to do it. I just love using both shades. I have both shades, so I want to get use out of both of them. Going into the shade Drench next, and keeping this just on the cheeks. As you can see, it is slightly deeper than the shade Shade. So that is why I like to keep this one only on the cheekbones. It's a little bit of a subtle bronzy contour effect on me. Now this next step definitely depends on my mood. Some days I want to look a little bit more sculpted. Some days I'm good with this. But today I want to be a little bit more sculpted in the cheek area. So I'm going to take some of this contour balm from Hung Van Gogh. This is in the shade Trustworthy. And I'm going to take the littlest amount because this has so much pigment. And I'm just going to do a little dab just like that. And I'm just gonna lightly, very lightly press this along my cheekbone just to add a little bit more of a sculpted bronzy effect. Then I'm gonna go back into my foundation brush with no extra product on there, and I'm just gonna kind of clean up under here. There are two blush combos I like to alternate between. The first combo is from LYS. This is in the shade Inspire. I love this blush for an everyday blush. It's so beautiful. The other combo is like a burnt terracotta kind of vibe. I don't know which one I want to use today. I feel like I use both of these blushes all the time on my channel, but I don't know, a part of me is leaning more towards the LYS blush because I really want a pinky color, but I also really love this terracotta blush combo. Maybe we should just mix all of them together. I feel like a lot of you might want to see how this blush shade looks on me, so let's go ahead and just kind of do everything. So I like to take some on the back of my hand. This is in the shade All Access. It is a beautiful color. I feel like I'm really gonna love this in the fall. I already love it now in the summer, but in the fall, oh, this is gonna be chef's kiss. For my cream and liquid blushes, this is my favorite brush to use. You guys, I am a BK Beauty girl, so fair warning, literally almost all the brushes I use are either BK Beauty, Morphe, or P. Louise. This is the 116 brush. Again, I'm just gonna load up the brush with product, trying to get an even coat of product. I like to keep my blush placement as high as I possibly can, but look at this blush shade. It's so pretty. It looks so intimidating in the bottle, but like on the face, look at how pretty that looks. As you can see, this is more of a glowy kind of blush, but it sets beautifully with the powder. I'm also going to take a little bit of the LYS cream blush because I just want to use both. And I'm going to keep this mainly on the apple of my cheeks. For concealer, Makeup Forever HD Skin Full Cover. Shade 3N 54. Yeah. I was like, is that the right shade? Yes, 3N 54. This is the best concealer. It is so beautiful. A little goes such a long way. I'm gonna go into my Patrick Ta nose contour brush. I'm gonna take the Rhode Pocket Bronzer in the shade Drench on this side right here. And I'm just gonna do a light nose contour. I love this brush. I feel like if you kind of struggle with your nose contour, this brush is the best nose contour brush. It has like this angle on here, so you can really get the sides of the nose bridge. Then you can just blend it with the fluffy side of the brush. Before I blend out the concealer, we're gonna go into the Makeup by Mario spray. I love this spray. I feel like it's so underrated, but I just feel like this makes the makeup look more lived in. I like to use setting sprays throughout my routine just to help with the longevity of my makeup and give me that extra insurance. This brush is my favorite concealer brush. I always get so many questions about this brush. This is one of the best brushes. This is the brush that replaced my Beauty Blender when it came to blending out my concealer. But it's from the BK Beauty and Nikki LaRose collab. This is the N19 brush. This is the best brush for concealer. Hands down, I live for this brush. I can't believe I only have one. I need another one. It just blends everything so easily. It covers a lot of surface area as well. It blends so beautifully. And this concealer is, look at how pretty this concealer is. Like, that is so pretty. And then I take whatever is left on my concealer brush and I just go down the middle of the nose. I'm going in with my Makeup by Mario setting powder in the shade Peach. This has to be my favorite setting powder at Sephora. Truly, Sephora has a lot of good powders, but it's just something about this one where I keep going back to it. It doesn't let me down. It's so blurring. It's talc free as well, which I love. To set these creams, I always use a powder puff, and this one is my favorite. This powder puff is from the Kelli and Rhode Techniques collection. I love it. It's not too thin, but it's not too thick, and it's soft enough to where the powder just melts into the skin. Like, look at that. Like that, the skin is looking really good. And I'm just going in with a very light hand with this powder just to kind of lightly set everywhere. It's okay if the powder is on one area of the face because I am going to go in with a big fluffy brush to kind of help blend all of this in and set this down even more. I'm so sad because you can't get this brush anymore. I don't know why I feel like brands don't come out with a really big domed fluffy powder brush like this anymore. These Morphe brushes back in the day were some of the best brushes. Truly. This is from the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill collab. Y'all, this brush, so good. Like, this is the brush that I use, but I do have an alternative. It's not as big as the Morphe one, but I feel like it definitely gets the job done. This is the 105 brush. This one from BK Beauty definitely gets the job done, but I just had to mention this brush because if you know of any brand that has a really big fluffy brush like this, please let me know because I love this brush. I am going to use the BK Beauty one because this one you can still get. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to go into the Sephora Collection Micro Smooth Powder. This is in the shade 56. And I'm just going to load up this powder brush. And I'm just going to lightly set everywhere else. For bronzer, I'm going to take my favorite bronzer, which I feel like they might be discontinuing this, which makes me very sad. I bought a backup and I was like, why is this on sale? Like, this was, I think this was like 50% off. But I bought a backup because, as you can see, mine is very well loved and used. This is the Make Beauty Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Bronzer. To blend out the bronzer, this is the BK Beauty 107 brush. I like this because it's small and I can really be precise with my bronzer application. Now, when it comes to applying my bronzer, again, same way like my foundation, I like to just kind of stipple this into the skin rather than swiping because I don't want to really disturb or pick up anything. Also, I don't really set my cream bronzer with, you know, my loose setting powders, so that is where the powder bronzer comes in. So I really don't want to swipe to disturb those creams underneath. Powder blush, going into this one from LYS, just taking the powder side of this blush. BK Beauty Nikki LaRose brush. This is the N15 brush. I love using this brush for all of my powder blushes. I just think, again, the perfect size. It's very small, so I can be a little bit more precise with this. So I'm just taking this, again, higher up on the cheeks, but this is definitely one of those powder blushes that's a little bit more buildable. And I'm just stippling this on the cheeks. That blush color, y'all, is so pretty. Like, do y'all see why I love this blush so much? Taking a little bit of the Patrick Ta She Knows Who She Is powder blush, and I'm just lightly going into this, and I'm just gonna take this further back on the cheeks, keeping it higher up. I like to add the darkest color further back on the cheeks and have it kind of ombre and fade out into a lighter color. That's usually my preference for, you know, blushes like this. Okay, you're probably like, girl, that's a lot of blush, but don't you worry. This is the step where my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Pressed comes in the shade Banana Bread. This product is a true game changer for me. So I am gonna take the same powder puff and kind of just swirl it in here and load it up, okay? I wanna load this powder puff up, tap off all of the extra. Then I'm just gonna go under the eyes and lightly, absolutely lightly, kind of brighten, but also clean up that blush and my under eye. Make the blush look a lot more airbrush and seamless. And then I also like to take what's left on this powder puff and go on the forehead, also here, because this does have a really nice blur to it. This powder, so good. And then I just take what's left on this blush brush and just very lightly kind of sweep. Once I'm at this step in my routine, I like to go in with the Hard Candy Glass on Lock setting spray. If I'm not using this, I'm using the One Size, but as of lately, I have been reaching for this one. This is a dupe to the One Size powder melt spray, so when I tell you guys, this is a fraction of the cost and it's gonna do exactly what the One Size spray is gonna do for you. Love it. I'm just gonna give it a little shake and then test the mister. One thing with Hard Candy, you gotta test the mister and it looks pretty good, so we're good to spray. And this is just gonna help melt all of those powders into the skin to where it looks a lot more lived in and seamless and it doesn't look powdery. For highlighter, I'm just gonna go into this one from Milani. This is in the shade Bronze Splendor. I love nose highlight, okay? No one is ever gonna take my nose highlight from me, ever. Okay, ever. I don't usually put highlight on my cheeks. I feel like my blush kind of gives me glow. Like, look at this. Like, I feel like I'm glowing enough on the cheeks, so I usually don't go in with highlighter on the cheeks. I just like to take it on my nose and then just tap it in a little bit with my finger. Don't get me wrong, love a good highlight on the cheeks sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, I'm just putting it on the nose, especially in this makeup routine. But before we get into the lips, let's go ahead and move on to the eyes. I know when I usually do my videos, I usually do my eyeshadow first and then I do my base. Whenever I do my everyday makeup routine, I do my eyes after my base. The shadows that I use are all neutral shadows. I don't use any colorful, sparkly shadows, so I don't have to worry about fallout, so that's why I do it like this. Priming the lids with a little bit of P. Louise base, just a little. I like to use the same brush I use for my color corrector because it also, whatever is left on the brush, kind of color corrects the eyelids too. My favorite palette for this makeup look is this one from Patrick Ta in the shade Medium. I'm gonna show you exactly what I do. I love this look so much. Like, it lives rent-free in my mind. This is one of those looks that truly does not let me down. If I want to spruce it up a little bit, I'll go in with like Urban Decay Space Cowboy for a little sparkle on the lid, or one of my Half Magic Beauty glitter pucks, you know, just to kind of add a little sparkle. But y'all, this palette the best palette, okay? This is one of my favorite brushes for, you know, blending out shadow in the crease. BK Beauty 201 brush. As you can see, it's a nice fluffy brush. You can use any fluffy brush, honestly, but y'all, like I said, I'm a BK Beauty girl. Down. So I like to start off with this shade. There's no names on these shades, so I'm just gonna hopefully point. This shade right here is the first shade I like to start off with. This is gonna be my crease shade. So I'm just taking this and lightly blending it out all in my crease. Now that that's all in the crease, I'm gonna go into the deepest shade right here, and I'm just gonna put this in my outer corner right here, just to add that depth into the look. And I'm not blending it all the way over. I'm just keeping this in my outer corner right here, just like that, just to add a little bit of depth out here in the outer corner. I'm going to use this brush from the Real Techniques and Kelli collab. This is the Bear Paw brush. I like this brush because it really does a great job at packing on the shadow. I'm going to take this shade right here, and I'm just going to pack this all on the lid, and I'm just going to blend it out into those other two shadow shades I put down. Taking that first blending brush and just helping to blend that into that lighter shade so it's a little bit more seamless. If I want a little bit more lightness in the inner corner, I'll go in with a little bit of this shade right here in the inner corner, just to open up the eye even more. Also from the Real Techniques and Kelli brush set, this is the Line and Smudge brush. I'm going to take the smudge side. I'm just going to take that very first brown, and I'm going to run this on my lower lash line. For liner, I have to have a black liner in my waterline. I love this eyeliner formula from Rhode Beauty. This is in the shade Onyx. For liquid liner for my wing, I love this one from Rare Beauty. This is the black shade, so I'm just gonna do. For mascara, I love this one from L'Oreal. This is the Extensionist mascara. This is my favorite mascara at the drugstore. I need to open up a new one because this one is starting to get a little old, but we're gonna just try to finish it up today. Now, if I was going to an event, my pompadour lashes would be on my face, but when it comes to just everyday, I'm not really reaching for lashes. Let's get into these lips. So I like to just take what's left on my powder puff and kind of mattify the lips to give myself a nice canvas for all of my lip products to apply to. I truly don't know how many times y'all heard me talk about the YSL lip liners, but they're just the best lip liners, and I have really been into the shade 110. It's a lot more of a cool tone lip liner. Who am I? Look at that. I love this lip liner. This is truly one of the most long-lasting lip liners, does not go anywhere. I just love the shade. Like, I love a good cool tone lip liner. Sometimes I'll take 107 and I'll kind of just mix the two together. I love both of these shades. Mixing these two together just gives me an even better color, so either or. My favorite nude lipstick is from MAC. It's the shade Honey Love. I just feel like this goes with literally every single look that I do. It is truly, it's so good. I love Honey Love. This is the Maximal Matte Lipstick formula. And then to top off this lip combo, this has been so well loved and well used. This is from Lawless. This is in the shade Rosy Outlook. As you can see, I don't have that much left, but I just love how a nice clear gloss just brings this combo together. I love this gloss. You see how this gloss just transformed this entire lip combo? This is the best everyday lip combo. This is exactly why I cannot stop reaching for this combo, because it's like the best. It just brings this entire look together, and the lips just look so juicy. Now, to finish off this super long makeup tutorial video, setting spray, and Danessa Myricks Liquid Blurring Balm is the best setting spray. I'm gonna give it a little shake. Danessa does not let me down. This is the look that I've been doing all summer nonstop for literally every event, concert, party I've been to when I'm on vacation or out of town. These are the products that I bring with me. I love this routine so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you love this routine just as much as me. Let me know if you try any of these products or any part of my everyday makeup routine. I love this routine so much. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll definitely catch you in the next video.